What I see when I see the destruction of this southern headland, it's a symbol of we own this now. It's a symbol of control. It's a symbol of power. The way I see it through my Aboriginal worldview is that not only the social injustice that was imposed on Aboriginal people, but the criminal assault that has been impacted on the environment, especially for us here in the Gumbaynggirr Nation in this beautiful Coffs Harbour Bay, is this southern headland. Gumbaynggirr Nunjawan, Aunty Francis Witt. I am a Gumbaynggirr woman. I was born in Bellingen and I was raised in Urunga. I identify as Aboriginal in my community. We have a past history and we have a modern history. I carry the intergenerational trauma and the history in my body. In 1891, my ancestors were taken from this land by the Welfare Protection Board to an island that was termed Black Island. It's called Urunga Island, and that was the first Aboriginal reserve. So that's my great-grandparents and their parents. Dad, when he was 4 years old, he was taken from his mum and Dad from the Welfare Protection Board, and he was raised, if you would call it that, in the Kinchela Boys' Home. This place where I'm standing now is one of 4 or 5 homes that we lived at in this town, Urunga, because we couldn't get accommodation. Mum couldn't get accommodation. It was a struggle. Our life was very disrupted through the welfare hunting and chasing us down all the time. Eventually they got my 2 brothers, Kevin and Raymond, and they were like 10 years old and 7, and my brothers went up to the Sunnyland Boys' Home until they were teenagers. There's a lot of mosquitoes here, and it's probably, I think it's here. I think about why were we living this way? Why are we living in the bush? How come we don't have a home? I used to look forward to that day that we would actually have a house, you know, and my brother-in-law, he came up from Sydney. He said, Margaret, I'm taking you in to meet the local MP. He said, this isn't right that you are still living like this. It's 1980s now. 6 months later, Mum had a house. When she had the Housing Commission house, she was watching the whole case with the Mabo case, and Eddie Mabo inspired Mum. And when in 1992, when Eddie Mabo case overturned the High Courts from terra nullius, 2 or 3 years later, Mum put in a native title claim. We were only in that house 5 years, and Dad died in that house. And Mum had had enough by then of this system. I couldn't find Mum for about a week, so I went for a drive one day out to a place that Mum always talked about, where her father had taken her camping when she was a little girl. And sure enough, I go out to Winona Headland. I had to drive up the railway track, and there was my mother sitting there with a 2-man tent, 5 20-litre water drums. Mum went from a 2-man tent and she purchased a caravan, and that was it. She wasn't going anywhere after that. My 2 brothers live here, and this is their home. This is our home, and we know we are just taking care of it. We are the custodians. We don't own the land, but we look after the land and we protect the land. This is the native title land, Winona Headland. Thank you for listening and taking the time for our story. This is ours and we own it. Thank you very much.